Good morning everybody, and once again welcome back to the channel. In the previous video I showed you how easily you can get started with Hoodie, Spark, Spark Thrift Server and using Glue as a Hive Metastore, running everything on your local machine in a matter of minutes. Now once you have that configured, if you haven't watched that video, I do want to take a moment and show you. Here is the YouTube video that you want to watch, this particular video. Also, complete step-by-step guide is given on my LinkedIn blog post. Everything has been mentioned here on how you guys can get started. Now, in this video, what I want to do is I want to show you, we're going to create two sample hoodie tables. So the source is a hoodie table. This could be a bronze or this could be a silver. So the data engineers have already, are dumping data into the silver zone or the bronze zone, whatever you want to call. Now let's learn how you can basically do a very simple join in DBT. So the goal again is to not complicate anything, just do a simple join and create a hoodie table and the target. So let's learn how to do that in this video. So the first step is basically I'm going to start up my Docker container. So again, this container will start my Glue 4 image locally. So I'm going to say docker compose up -- build, and I'm going to do -d. -d basically stands detach. It's going to run in the background now. Now, once you have your Docker container running, of course, now let's go inside the container. So I'm going to use my Docker desktop, click here, and then use the Excite. Now I'm inside the Docker container. Now after that, I'll do cd home glue user / Spark, and after that I will be launching my thrift server. I'll be using Spark 3.3 bundle, and I'm going to be using Apache Hoodie 0.14, and I'm also setting my, as you can see, spark.hadoop.hive metastore warehouse directory, and again just give your S3 bucket over here. So now what I want to do is I want to launch the thrift server. So I'm gonna go here, and as you can see, my thrift server has now been started. Okay, so now that you have your Docker container running and you have your thrift server running, now let's create two sample hoodie tables, customer and orders, and then we'll learn how you can use DBT to join these two tables. All right, so now the next part is since your Docker container is running, this will also launch a Jupyter notebook. So you can access the Jupyter notebook by going to localhost :8888. Now we are going to create these two sample hoodie tables, right? So I'm going to call my data generator and generate two PySpark data frame. So as you can see, we have a customer called Steve, and we have some fake orders for that. Again, for the demo purposes, I'm using a small data set so I can show you that the things are working, right? So I have one customer and two orders, right? And I want to join these two data in DBT, okay? So that's the goal. So now I have these two data frame. Now let me create two hoodie tables over here. So this will create a hoodie table called orders inside the Glue database called default. Again, you can give any name you want. And then it's gonna create a Glue table called customers inside the Glue database called default. So now this might take about a couple of minutes. So I will show you meanwhile on S3. I can see a silver table, I see the customer table, and I should also see the order table pretty soon. Going to the Glue database, if I refresh, nothing so far here. So I'm just gonna wait for that job to complete. Again, this could take about 2 to 3 minutes since I'm running everything locally, right? So let me pause the video and resume once this is complete. All right, my job is complete, and if I go to S3, if I refresh here, I see customer and orders, some fake data about the orders, and I see some customer data over here. Hopefully made sense. Now, if I go to Glue database, I should be seeing these two tables here. Oh, here you go, right? We have these two tables in the database called default. Great, right? We have these two tables. Now let's learn how we can use DBT to join these two data, okay? So now let me walk you over that process. All right, so now let me share my screen. Now in the project, as you can see, I do have a source.yml, and here you will define your sources, right? So I'm saying that, hey, I have a Glue database called default. Inside that, for my, analysis, I would want to use two tables, right? Which is the customer and the order table. As you can see, I have given the Glue table name over here. The file name is source.yml. Again, just want to show you quickly, this is my Glue database that is called default, and I have these two tables over here. Okay, perfect, great. All right, now if you see inside the models, we have a folder called stage, and inside that we have joined.sql. Now again, this is just a boilerplate, which is basically showing you, how we are doing this very simple join here, right? So materialize to incremental, file format to hoodie, and my unique identifier, I'm using a composite key, which is customer ID and order ID. Now, simple man, in DBT, everything is a select statement, right? So I'm selecting some columns from the customer table, as you can see. Now, the way you would read is using from source, data source. Now, you'll say, hey, why did you use data source here? Because in source.yml, we gave the name data source. If you gave name foo, anything, you would put that particular name over there. So here, as you can see, I'm selecting all of these columns, right, from the customer glue table, right? Hopefully made sense. And similarly, I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm selecting some columns, right, from the order glue table, right? Data sources order, right? Hopefully made sense. Again, these are both hoodie tables, okay? Makes sense. Now here, again, simple, right? All I'm doing is I'm just basically joining, as you can see, I'm joining them on the customer ID, and that's it. Pretty simple, right? Again, let me rewind a little bit. So we have a source.yml where we defined the glue database name, the tables that I want to use, right? And then here, as you can see, over here we defined the customer data. As you can see, we selected a bunch of columns, right? The same thing we did for the orders. We selected a bunch of columns, right? And then we just did a join, right? We did a very, very simple join, right? Hopefully made sense, right? Very, very easy, So again, in DBT, everything becomes a select statement, right? You just gotta write a SQL query, do DBT debug, DBT run, magic. All right. So now what I want to show you is, okay, so now I need to go inside the project directory and then I'm gonna run this project, okay? So now I'm gonna say open in terminal. And then I'm gonna first activate my DBT environment. Then I'm gonna say bin activate. All right, so now I'm gonna basically go inside the project directory, which is cd dbt hoodie. After that, I'm gonna say dbt debug, and I should be seeing everything okay over here. Might take a while because again, I'm running everything locally on the Docker, okay? So looks good, right? Now, again, I do not have a table called join, right? And again, in schema.yml, we just defined the output schema, right? I want to create a table called join data, which will have these columns, and I'm just providing some test, right? Customer ID has to be unique, etc., etc. This is a very simple Hello World DBT project, right, with hoodie, right? So now I can say DBT run. So this might take a couple of seconds. Once this is complete, what would happen is you would see a glue table called join data, which will have both the data for customer and orders, right? So hopefully made sense. And then I want to show you something quickly. All right, we got an error here. Oh, I know. So I just got to do dbt clean first. I think that should resolve it. And now let's do dbt run. Hopefully that error should be resolved. Okay. And sure enough, it did, right? Hopefully made sense. Now, if I go to my glue tables and if I refresh here, I should see my join data again, which is again a hoodie table. I see my hoodie metadata and the join data over here, right? Makes sense. Now, one thing that I wanted to show you probably is you could connect to your glue hive metastore using Beeline. So I'm connecting to that. Now I'm gonna query my joined data. Okay, so as you can see, show databases, use default, right? And now I'm just gonna run a simple query. So give me one sec. So I'm gonna go here, my notes, and then I'm gonna fire this query over here. Again, all this does is basically shows me the name of the customer, how many orders they have made so far. So total they have made 2 orders and the total order value, which is 1602, right? Now, what we want to do is we want to basically generate some more data, and then again run dbt run and see if we see that new data coming in, right? So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna call this function again. This will generate two more orders for that user Steven, right? So now that's done. Now again, I'm gonna upsert into that hoodie table orders, and then I'm gonna run my dbt run, right? And then if I do the same query, right? If I run the same query, I should be seeing number 4 here, because this particular customer has total made 4 orders, and this number also should change, right? So that's the expectation. So let me pause the video here. Once this is complete, I'm gonna show you the next steps. All right, as you can see, that's finally complete. Now I will go inside here and again run dbt run. This should update my hoodie table with the new data that just came in, right? So if I do this, so dbt run, this might take a couple of seconds, hopefully, or a couple of minutes. And then when I do my same query, I should be seeing the data being updated, okay? So let's wait. Again, it's still running here, as you can see. All right, so completed. Right now what I'll do is I'll go to my Beeline again, and I'm gonna basically run the same query. Give me 1 sec, I just need to terminate this. Okay, now let me connect to my Beeline, right? And then I'm gonna fire the same query. And if I go here, do this, again, makes sense, right? Order has been updated to 4, and now here we see the total order value. So you saw how easy it was to join the two tables using dbt. We took a look at the overall process. So now I know this is a lot to take. Well, what I'll do is I'll try my best to put all the resources on my GitHub page under the lab section, so that way you can clone, you can try these labs out. So break these labs into small parts. So part 1, okay, spin up the Docker container. Part 2, start the thrift server. Part 3, okay, see if you can connect to it through Beeline, right? Once you're done with that, okay, part 4, create these two hoodie tables. Part 5, create a sample hoodie dbt project, right? But then part 6, add the code for joining these two data, right? Part 7, then, so on, so on. So what I'm saying is, break this into small parts and pieces, and then try small parts. And once you make progress to that, you will see, oh yeah, it's working, yeah, this makes sense. Hopefully that made sense. So thank you so much for watching the video, and all the resources are on my GitHub page, and I'll see you in the next video.